Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Avinash, and in this video I'm going to talk about Elasticache. So basically this Elasticache is a in-memory caching solution for our databases, right? So we can use this Elasticache service to store most frequently accessed query results. Okay, so for example, you have a database and we are getting lot of requests to the database. And most of the requests are duplicated requests, or most of the requests are just read-only requests. So now, when duplicate requests are coming, that query still is going to execute on our database and it is going to return with the result. So same query executing again and again. So obviously it's going to add or put lot of load on our actual databases. So to reduce load, what we can do, we can add a elastic cache in front of our actual databases. Okay, so that whenever any query is executing from our application, it checks in the caching first. Okay, so if result available, the cache itself will give respond to the query. If the result is not available, now the query is executed in the database, and while it is returning, that result also stored. If anyone is trying to access or executing same query, so the result stored in that cache, right, it is going to respond. So this Elastic Cache has two open source caching engines. The service name is Elasticache, but it actually allow us to create caching services like Redis or memcached. So this Redis or memcached, two open source one. So in this video, I'm going to explain how we can create this Redis cluster. I have added this Redis advantages here in this repository. I'll share this repository link in our video description. So firstly, this Elasticache is a managed service, so you no need to create any server, you no need to take care about any configuration or OS patching kind of things. So that is the first advantage, and it definitely helps us to improve our application performance and even when our application required very low latency access for frequently accessed data, so then we can use this. It as it is going to cache all the data, and it also, like, security point of view also, whatever the data transmission happening between database and this cluster or client, it is going to be encrypted, and we can integrate this with a lot of services, our regular RDS service, or if any application is running on EC2 instance, or a database is running inside EC2 instance, or Lambda also. And also you can save some cost by, using this Redis. So how we can save some cost? So you are offloading some of operations from our actual database, right? So that definitely, right, reduce the required configuration for our actual databases or primary database. All right, so without any late, let's go and create a Redis cluster. Click on Get Started, select Redis, and we have two deployment options. One is serverless, and second one is server method. So serverless, it scales automatically. The configuration changes automatically based on the load, based on demand, or we can go with regular uh, node configuration types. So I'm selecting design your own cache, and easy create. Most of the options AWS picks automatically. Just one click, it clicks everything. Okay, and I'm not going to do that. I'm going to choose dev or test environment. Or if you want to try this for the first time and all, you can go and choose this demo as well. So I'm taking this dev or test environment one, and the name, I'm going to call this as YT-demo Redis is a name I'm giving. My Redis cluster is a description I'm giving. So IP address, I'm going with IPv4, and subnet group, you can create a new subnet group whenever you are creating for the first time. I'm going to call this as a Redis subnet group. You can give a description and in what VPC you want to run. You can choose a VPC and what are all the availability zones you want to uh, run this or you want to use with this Redis cluster. So I'm selecting episode 1A as well as 1B. Two subnets is fine. So if you are selecting any other VPC here under manage, I have multiple subnets, right? Two subnets in 1A, two subnets in 1B. So based on my requirement, I can select that. So I'm preferring to go with the default VPC for now for this video. So if you already have an idea on that VPC, so you can choose your database subnets or the subnets which you created for to run your data workload. You choose that. So then, did I create it easy? Okay, let's select cluster cache. So this easy create won't give a lot of options to choose. I'm selecting cluster mode here as a disable. So whenever you select this cluster mode, so it is going to later we can adding a lot of nodes, right? So whenever this cluster mode is in disable state, we are going to run with a single node group. So one primary node we are going to have, and for that primary node we can start adding read replicas. Okay, so what name you want to give? My Redis. Okay, and description, my Redis for YouTube demo. And also where you want to run this. You want to run this in AWS cloud, or if you have any AWS outpost, you can run this in that AWS outpost as well. So basically this AWS outpost is a it helps us to establish hybrid connectivities. It's kind of private cloud. So AWS is going to place some servers and they are going to place a device, that server rack in our on-premise. We can create resources within that. So I'm going to choose AWS Cloud. Multi-AZ, not really required as it is not I'm not going to run any production workload. Failover, I have unchecked this failover as well. So if you enable this failover, right, when something happened to primary node, automatically read replica will promote as a primary node. So if you want to use this feature, you have to enable replicas as well. So yeah, you can or you can skip this feature. It's purely depend on your requirement. But if it is production environment, highly recommended to enable multi-AZ as well as failover. Whenever you enable multi-AZ, automatically failover also enables. All right. So engine version, I'm going with 7.0 and port number 6379. Whatever the security group you are going to create, make sure that is open with the 6379 port number to where you want to deliver. You want to deliver to another EC2 instance or Lambda, you open this to that resources. And parameter group, one creates automatically. And node type, I'm going with small configuration actually. So let me go with T3 micro. And number of replicas. So if you are giving 0, no replica. If you are giving 1, one read replica will create. So it's going to work as a primary and read replica method. So I'm going to give one replica just to showcase what exactly replica and where you can find the replica. And connectivity, I'm going to choose a subnet. Here we can create a new subnet group, new RDS subnet group, new Redis subnet group, Redis subnet group. Now you can choose which VPC you want to and which subnets you want to. So I prefer to run this Redis in episode 1A as well as 1B. Click on choose. Okay, availability zone placement. Where do you want to place this? I want to place this in episode 1A, primary in episode 1A, replica in episode 1B. You can choose that option. So if you are not selecting any replica, you don't get this option. So click on next. So do you want to enable encryption at rest? So whatever the data storing inside this Redis cluster, if you want to secure the data by applying some encryption mechanism, then enable encryption at rest. So you want to go with uh, default key, or if you have any customer managed key from KMS, you can choose that keys and you can create that. So let me go with the default key, and also encryption in transit also I'm going to enable. So whenever you enable this encryption in transit, you observe here we have an option called access control. So expand this access control. We have two types of authentication and authorization to this Redis cluster. So we have one option called Redis authentication. Okay, so whenever you want to authenticate to this Redis cluster, you have to give this authentication token. Otherwise, you can use this IAM authentication as well. So this IAM authentication, I will take I will prepare another video for that. So for now, I'm going with Redis authentication default user access. So the default user, I'm going to give a token for the default whenever we want to connect, and I'm going to call this token as this token is for YouTube and some number. I'm giving 777. So let me copy this number. So basically, this token should be 16 characters. That's the reason I have given this much bigger one. And let me store that somewhere in a document. Okay. Yeah. So I have the token. So then, what is the security group you want to use? Associate to this Redis cluster. So let's create one security group. I'm going to call this as Redis SG for Redis, in which VPC you want to, what VPC you want to, and rule as this Redis is running on 6379, so you have to open that port number, right? Custom TCP 6379. I'm going to open for everyone for now, but it is not at all recommended to open for everyone. So if I want to make this Redis cluster available to one of my database, I can simply give my database security groups here. So yeah, you can give security group, or you can give IP address of your database, right? So for now, I'm going with the anywhere, then create security group, right? So let's go here and click on security group manage, give a refresh, and choose the security group you have created for Redis. Click on choose. Now, do you want to enable backup? If your answer is yes, you select and choose the backup retention period. Maximum backup retention period is 35 days, just like our RDS clusters. I'm not really interested about automated backups at moment. And maintenance window, if you want to perform any activities, maintenance activities, you can choose a maintenance window. During this window, you can apply the changes. No preferences for now. And I'm not going to enable auto miner version upgrade. And when something is happening, you want to get any notification, then you can choose SNS topic. And also whenever any slow logs, or whenever any engine related logs you want to store, so then you can choose, okay, slow logs, in what format you require, JSON or text format, where do you want to store. I'm going to store this in CloudWatch. You are going to use an existing log group, or you can create a new log group. I'm going to create a new log group. Redis slow logs is the name I'm giving. And if you're looking for engine logs also, in similar way you can enable. Then click on next. Here is a review screen. Then click on create. All right, now the Redis cluster creation is initiated. Okay, so this creation is going to take some time. And if you scroll down to bottom, you observe here we have two nodes. So this is 001, this is 002. We are going to get a primary endpoint and a reader endpoint. All right, so this is going to take some time. So meanwhile, let's launch an EC2 instance and let's do the required configuration to get connected to this Redis cluster. Again, this Redis has some limitations. We can't directly connect to this Redis cluster from outside world. If you want to connect, or if you want to like yeah, if you want to connect to this Redis cluster from your local laptop or outside VPC, we cannot connect. So I have reference documentation link from AWS. I will try to add that into this video description. So where you can find Elasticache limitations. Elasticache Redis limitations. Okay, there are some limitations for this. Okay, let me try to find that. This is not the one actually I'm looking for. No. Okay. Connect Redis outside VPC limitations. I think this is the one. Okay, yeah, these are the considerations and limitations. So if you want to, access this Redis cluster outside of the VPC, directly it is not possible. And also it's not even recommended to access from outside of the VPC. The reason, we are going to get a lot of latencies. If you still have any requirement to, share, you need to create a NAT instance. Yeah, you need to create an NAT instance, and that NAT instance also should be in same VPC. It should has an IP address. Okay, and also you observe this statement. It is not recommended for production use due to following limitations. So the process they are explaining here, to access is Redis outside from AWS environment. So we can try out for testing environment and development environment purpose only. Okay, so that's a reason. I'm going to launch an EC2 instance and I'm going to do required installations like a Redis CLI we have to install. So once that installation is completed, I'm going to connect to this Redis. All right, so let's launch instance. I'm going to call this as a Redis CLI instance. And I'm going to take Amazon Linux 2 AMI, as this Linux 2023, got a lot of new modifications where you are not allowed to use yum kind of thing. So I'm preferring to go with Amazon Linux 2 AMI. I'm going with T2 micro. That is too sufficient for this video. And this instance also I'm launching in the same VPC. Otherwise, you need to create a VPC peering between this VPC, this Elasticache VPC and this instance VPC. So I'm going to use same, and I'm creating a new security group for this instance. 8 gigs is okay, then launch instance. Now, once this instance is launched, once this instance is launched, we will get connected to it. And I can tell you one thing. So this Elasticache security group is there, right? So this Elasticache security group is currently we have opened for everyone, right? So as that is not a recommended setting, so what we can do, we can it's not completed yet. So whatever the security group we have for this EC2 instance, we can open that entire traffic to this EC2 instance security group. Okay, we will check that in some time. So let's get connected to this EC2 instance. So you can use browser method. I personally prefer this my terminal. So let's go to desktop, key pairs folder, ssh-i, c2 user at the rate, give your instance public IP address, type yes. All right, now I got connected to this instance. I'm going to elevate my privileges to root, Control L to get a clear the screen. So now here, if you're directly giving like a Redis CLI, so it will tell you the command not found. So we have to install this Redis CLI to get connected to our uh, Elasticache cluster. So for that, see, recently we got a straightforward option like you can install Redis 6, but if you want to download the required packages and if you want to install, so please follow this process. Okay, so first I'm updating the EPL repository. And I have given valid description for each and every command I'm executing here. So first, what I'm doing, second, what I'm doing, what is the purpose, what is the command. So if you are also like, trying to install, you can refer this and you can simply copy and execute these commands. Okay, so once EPL repository is updated, now let's install all the required dependencies. Okay, so just give this command, it is going to install GCC, that is GNU compiler collection, and a memory collector, and OpenSSL for secure connectivities. So that is what we are installing now. So once this installation is completed, we are going to download the source code of this Redis CLI. Okay, you have to download the source code, then you have to build. That is what the recommended process is. Okay, so is this completed? Yes, the installation completed. Now I'm going to download this file from official Redis website. Okay, the file got downloaded. Just verify by giving ls command. Yes, the zip file is now downloaded. Let's unzip that file. I'm using tar command to unzip it. So it's unzip completed. If you give ls, you can see there is a folder called Redis stable. Let's go inside that Redis stable. If you give ls, you can see a lot of files, and generally the configuration and everything will be under this slash src. So now you have to write. Build this. So let's run this command called make, that is going to prepare a build. So this is going to take some time, around 4 to 5 minutes. I will pause and I'll resume this video once it is completed. Okay, so finally the build completed. Right. So if you want to test, you can run this make text command. Okay, but again, this make test also going to take around 5 to 10 minutes if you have enough time, if you want to verify whether the make command prepared a proper build or not. So then you can run the command. So I'm not going to run that. Okay, so I assume it it is good. Okay, so now once this is completed, we can start executing, we can start using this Redis CLI command. But one thing, okay, you have to be under this source folder. And also, if you are giving just simply Redis CLI, it's saying command not found. So what you need to do? So the strange thing is you have to give dot slash. So why? Because the terminal don't know where that required um, terminal or the support files are. So you have to give dot slash, then you have to give Redis CLI. So then only it is going to work. Okay, so if you don't want to add this dot slash always and you don't want to work always in this src directory, so you can do one thing. So just give executable permission for this Reddy CLI. Again, if you are in the same directory, you no need to give that src. And also, yeah, just copy this, and I'm copying it to user bin path. So now you no need to be in the same location. You can be in different location also. And now you can give simply Reddy CLI, and it is detecting that command. All right. So now the Redis CLI installation completed. So we have to verify our Redis cluster status. Is this created or not? All right. It is still creating. So to get connected to this Redis cluster, so we have some commands. I have added that command also in this document. So if you observe, here is the command. So redis-cli /h. So that is nothing but a host name. So you have to give your Redis cluster host name, and /tls. Why? Because we have enabled encryption methods, right? So we have enabled this authentication as a yes, and encryption also yes. So obviously, if you are using that encryption, you have to use this um, hyphen TLS, and you have to give this hyphen A. So this hyphen A is nothing but like, authentication, whatever the password we have set up. If you remember, I have stored the password here. So this password I have to enter here, and hyphen P is nothing but port number. So 637 is a port number. So is this security group updated? Let's verify. Okay, this cluster security group updated. Let's adjust the security group. So now I have selected this Elastic Redis security group, edit inbound roles. Instead of opening it for everyone, what we can do, we can open just required port number to the security group of our EC2 instance. For my EC2 instance, I have this security group. It is ending with 133. Okay, this is the one. So Redis to EC2 instance. So no other resources can connect and can retrieve the data. So we can simply remove this if required. But if you don't understand this concept, yeah, for testing purpose, you can even open it for everyone. So then you can continue your testing. All right, so this is a more secured option. You are making your Redis cluster available to only the EC2 instance, only the the instance from where you want to access Redis. All right, so this creation is now completed. It's in available state. All right, so now let's grab this primary endpoint. So this is our Redis primary endpoint. So to test this primary endpoint, what you can do from your local laptop, you can run ns lookup, then give this primary endpoint, just remove that colon port number. It is going to return with the name, and it is going to return with the IP address. All right, it is also going to give canonical name of that, right, a primary cluster. So if you observe, this is what that canonical name. All right, so we are good. So now let's get connected to our Redis cluster. So for that, as I mentioned, like the command is redis-cli -h. Again, if you enable, while we are creating the cluster, it asked us, right, whether you want to enable cluster mode or not. So I have not enabled cluster mode here, but in case if you enable cluster mode, you have to give /c then remaining all commands. But I have not enabled cluster mode. I'm just giving Redis CLI-H, then gef primary endpoint. So then just remove colon 6379. So then gef this hyphen TLS space hyphen A is nothing but authorized token. This is my token. I'm giving the token here. Then hyphen P 6379 is a port number. Now copy this command, execute in your EC2 instance. All right. So it is not recognizing that TLS command. Okay, hyphen TLS. Yes, it should be hyphen TLS. Okay, so now you observe here, earlier it is just root at the rate and all, but now we got connected to this Redis cluster. So now we can start executing the commands. So if you want to execute, if you want to I'm going to test this by using some commands. I'm going to give set A, I'm going to give YouTube. All right. So now if I'm trying to run get A, you see here, this is what it is returning with. So again, I'm going to give set B. Again, if you are giving capital B, you should use capital B. So set B, I'm going to give test hyphen one. Right. If you want to get it, so you have to use this get B. And also um, here, one small thing, you can, whatever the cache it is storing, so you can make it expire after some time. So for example, I'm going to set C. Okay, I'm giving some value, test expire, and then I'm going to give expire after 10 seconds. Right. So now if I'm running this get C, I'm getting this output. But till what time this cache is going to store? So this cache is going to store for coming 10 seconds. You see here, earlier when I gave get C, we got the output. But after 10 seconds, if I'm running same command, it is giving null. Also, if you want to get all the information storing here, so you can give keys star. Whenever you are giving key star, it is going to show you all the ones we have here. All right, so yeah, these are the ones, and also how we can configure this um, for actual applications. So I have a simple code. So basically, this is a simple code. So if you observe this code, whenever any operation is coming, right, first the from database, it is going to verify the cache data for the given key. So if the given key is available, the cache data itself will respond. If data is not available, now what's happening? The data is going to RDS cluster and it is running that query. While it is returning that query to our application or user, it is going to store that information. It is going to give key and whatever the RDS data, the query happened here, right? So that query information is going to store here and it is going to return that. So this is a very simple one. Okay, so we are checking our application point of view. We are checking the required data or everything first in cache. If it is available in cache, the cache itself will give response. If it is not available in cache, so then the query will execute in actual database. But while giving response, this cache will store the information. So this is all about Redis and Elasticache service. And I'll try to make another video how we can integrate IAM authentication with this Redis. That's it for this video. If you found this video helpful, please spare some time and please subscribe to my YouTube channel. See you again in next video. Thank you guys.